No problem, no problem.
Great. So, I know a little bit about your story, and as much as you worked in the company corporately, and then you decided to switch. But I wondered if I can take you back a little earlier than that. I mean, your background and career generally. Would you mind sharing that with us?
In Korea?
Well, your
I,
history of your life's work, if you like. Your background was in
oh,
what
yes,
sense?
yes, sure. Sure. Well, I can tell you that, Aurelio, welcome, Aurelio. I can tell you that I have been in this wonderful industry for almost 30 years. And I've been working, I worked as most of the time in the corporate side of the business, in skincare companies, cosmetic companies, in plastics, in plastics with Tupperware. Actually, I joined Tupperware as a marketing director. Then I became general manager, and thanks to my good results, I was promoted to vice president in Brazil, Paraguay, and Bolivia. So I had some international experience, if you can say that. Then I worked in a Mexican company, in a skincare company called Ideal. And in Ideal, believe it or not, I met the first time Dr. Ricardo Garcia Pelayo. I think I sent you a photograph about that. We have our first convention for a company named Eniva, and Eniva has a joint venture with Ideal in Mexico, and it was the first international operation for them. A nice company. That company in, has an invoice of $60 million, and it was a very young company, 5 or 6 years, and they were really growing. They have a nice product called Vibe, which it was a liquid product with vitamins and minerals and everything, and they made all the mistakes the new companies usually do. What are the mistakes? First of all, they changed the formula. The
Oh,
old product, was a cylindric bottle, normal label. It was a normal product, and they decided to put some marketing into the product. And unfortunately, we didn't know that the old product, well, the nice bottle, it was a nice bottle. You paid a design company to develop a new product and everything, and that was the first mistake, because they decided to change the formula from Vibe number one to Vibe 2.0. They changed the bottle, and something that happened, we didn't know that in the old bottle they have a lead seal, so that it was really very well sealed. And in the new bottle they have what is it, cork seal, and the oxygen was getting into the bottle, and there was a lot of problems because minerals were really precipitating into
yeah.
the bottle. And I used to receive telephone calls saying, "Hey, Alejandro, what can I do with this maraca?" Because the
Oh,
minerals were
yeah.
how can I sell this maraca?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that was the first mistake. The second mistake, they rented or they acquired a very big facilities in Wisconsin, in Minnesota, and unfortunately the sales went down. They have a very big mortgage. At the end, the end result of that story was that company Eniva went to Chapter 11. But I worked with Dr. Ricardo Garcia Pelayo like 3 years. We were traveling around Mexico, and I can tell you that Ricardo Garcia Pelayo is exactly the same man that you know already. He is the first one to open even the event. I mean, he will be 30, 40 minutes before the official opening of the event. He's always carrying a very big, large suitcase filled with books, flyers, pamphlets, CDs, everything. I mean, he's always spreading information about the company, and it was exactly the same way of working. Let me share with you one of the incredible stories, because I have so many incredible stories. You can imagine traveling with Ricardo 3 years in Mexico. I mean, there are so many stories. But the one story that really struck me, and hit me very hard. We were traveling from Mexico, from Ciudad Juarez to Mexico City, and the group of ladies that took us to the airport, one of the ladies, perhaps 22 years. Raúl, could you please close your micro, Raúl, please? Thank you. And then when we were there waiting for the airplane, one of the ladies, 22 years, 23 years old, asked to Ricardo, Doctor, with all the money that you are earning, because they were imagining, everybody is imagining how the check of Ricardo García Pelayo, no, how big it is. With all the money that you are earning, why are you still working? And the answer that Ricardo said it's a wise answer, because he said, lady, I'm not working. I'm doing what I like. I'm doing what I like. I decided to study medicine because I like to help people. I didn't enter into immunotech, for instance, because of the money, because the money is really something additional that you will receive if you are doing your job properly. So I'm not here for the money. I'm here for helping people. I like to help people. And that includes everything, not only the health part of the session, because he's always counseling people, counseling in terms of health, in terms of the business, in terms of anything that really can develop, even his spiritual counseling, because you know Ricardo is very spiritual person. So okay. Here I am.
There we are. We found you. I've been trying to do that while you've been telling us your story. So, so now you kind of moved on from there and those experiences, which obviously made a big impression on you. And what I understand from that, had a similar situation in the previous company I worked with. When formulations are working and things are going well, you leave them alone, right? and things go well. When you start to mess around with these formulations, particularly in the early stages, it can be disastrous. So we're very fortunate now to be in a very much stronger position. Products tested and tried over a long period of time, very stable. And so you moved into working with the company and became an executive with the company. Can you tell us a little bit about that, please?
Yes, sure. Actually, I am sure that Ricardo García Pelayo was the person who gave my name to Gabriela Moreno, my former boss. Before Mauricio get into the company, Gabriela Moreno was the general manager for Immunotech Mexico. And I'm quite sure that Ricardo was the person who gave my name to Gabi. And I joined Immunotech about, 4 or 5 years ago, as a commercial director, sales and marketing in Immunotech Mexico. At that time, the company was like a $60 million company, and most of the revenue was coming from Mexico. Mexico was the #1 country, even compared with the United States. Mexico was having a revenue almost 3 or 4 times more than the United States. And my position was to really work with the platinums. My position was, my mission as I received the instruction was to work with all the platinums and keep Drosophila happy, because it was very important to keep Drosophila happy at that time. Anyway, I learned a lot of things in Immunotech, and I was really surprised that in all the meetings, the meetings that we have, the system is more or less the same, like the Discover. You speak first about the company, then talk about the product, some testimonials about the product, and then business, testimonials about the business. And these famous rows, these lines, when you are asking all the diamonds, your biggest checks in Immunotech, how much is it? And it was impressive. And I was really impressed by the health testimonials, because we all know that we have a wonderful product, but it's so difficult to convince people that the Immunocal is so good. They don't believe it. They don't believe it. We have even one case here in our group that a doctor who knew Immunocal, I don't know, 10 years ago, something like that. He was the first person that think if this product works for everything, for all kind of diseases, it doesn't work at all. So he didn't research, he didn't make any kind of research, he didn't really try to understand why the product was working and was so fabulous. But changes that we have in our lives. The wife of this doctor's wife, entered into Immunotech and start giving Immunocal to the doctor's mother, and his mother was like 90 years old, an old lady, and it was really like a furniture in the house. She was just sleeping, and they take from the bed, put in a chair, and then feed her, dress her, and everything. Everybody has to do. They have a permanent 2 nurses taking care of that lady every single day. Suddenly, after I think 1 week of taking Immunocal, and the doctor didn't know that the wife was giving Immunocal to his mother, and after 5 days or something like that, the old lady appears in the door of the bedroom, and the doctor was shocked and saying, "Hey, what my mother is doing?" So to make this story short, he at the end, after 3 months, he showed us a video where the lady, this old lady, was, she was completely, she can work for herself alone. She dressed herself, she can feed. She was running in the gym that the doctor has in his house. He was running and doing some exercise. Wow. He was remembering things. She was remembering things. And that was the reason, because the lady was giving Immunocal and an extraordinary product called Cogniva, that this product works in the brain and reconnect all the different neurons that we have on the brain. And this lady is now fantastic. I mean, I just remember I saw the face of the doctor seeing his mother, that practically Immunocal saved her life. And that's why he decided to join the company.
Fantastic.
So, and stories like this, that I'm sure, Scott, you have heard a lot. These are my wife and my 3 daughters relaxing in the Mexican Riviera. Yeah. And these are always, of course, they are my why I'm doing this kind of business. When I decided to move from the corporate side to start my organization, my wife was shocked, as you can imagine, because my current salary there was like, I don't know, $4,000 net after taxes. And I'm sure that I'm going to be a diamond, and my first check in the diamond rank is going to be $5,000. And I'm going to take a plane to Houston and embrace, give a big embrace to Mauricio and say thank you for letting me start my organization in Immunotech.
So this is something of the earlier days, right? Could you tell us what this is?
Yes. At the bottom, the photograph that is in the bottom is Charlie Orr and his wife. Charlie Orr was the CEO in Immunotech at that time. Gabriela Moreno is in the middle of the group, and she was my boss, and she's a fantastic lady. She practically started Immunotech in Mexico, and the first 2 years she has to work from her house. There was no offices for Immunotech Mexico, and she was working at her house.
And which year was this, Alejandro? Which year was it?
I'm sorry?
Which year? What year?
What year? The company started in 2010, and she was working at her house from 2010 to 2012.
Okay.
And then the first office was opened in 2013.
Right.
Almost 3 years the company was operating in Mexico.
And you were there in that time, were you?
I joined Immunotech in 2015. 2 years.
So nearly 6 years we've got.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And you can imagine that all the information, videos, brochures, everything was in English. So when the new people joined Immunotech Mexico, there were nothing printed in Spanish. They have to translate or use information in English, some videos, and try to translate the videos because there were no information in Spanish. The Canadian people, they didn't really think that the expansion to Latin America, of them, you can ask John Solitaire, Wally Kralik, they were really shocked and impressed that Immunotech Mexico was growing so fast.
Yes. Well, now we have exactly the opposite situation.
Was,
we're transferring information from Spanish back to English again.
Right.
So
right.
this was you in Colombia, and which year was this, Alejandro?
That was 2000 and last year, 2020.
Right. So you've moved from Mexico to Colombia to build your new organization as a consultant. Is that right?
That is correct. That is correct. When actually, let me tell you that when the policy in the company was that if you're a corporate, you have to be out of the office, out of the Immunotech for at least 1 year, because there is a false belief that because you know all the plans of the company and the promotions and everything, you're going to take advantage of that, and that's not true. Actually, my three daughters were at the university at that time, and I had to speak with Mauricio and say, I cannot be out of work for 1 year. I mean, I would like to do that, but I cannot do that. And Mauricio led me to join the company with one condition. And the only condition he gave me is you're going to be sponsored by the company, because I don't want that all the platinums are going to fight to get you in your group.
Okay.
And I say, well, I don't know if they are going to fight for me, but okay, I accept.
All right.
And to tell you the truth, the first 6 months that I was alone, I didn't do anything. I hope that, the customers are going to call me, because most of my people, my friends and everything, they will know that I'm not now doing the organization, and they are going to request Immunocal immediately. And nothing like that happened, of course, nothing. I was very lucky to find Ricardo and Rosofelia in one meeting in Mexico City, almost 6 months after I left the company. And Rosofelia was asking me, who is your sponsor? Who are you with? And I said, I'm direct of the company. The company is my sponsor. And her words, I remember perfectly, said, alone, you are not going to do anything. You cannot work alone. That's silly. After 3 weeks, I received a recording from Rosofelia, and she was telling me, without your authorization, without your permission, I spoke with Mauricio Domensain, and he told me that you can be registered by anybody. You can select who's going to be your sponsor. Some people in the group say that Rosofelia was telling me that because she wanted me to be in that group, but I didn't really think about it. I was really looking for someone in Mexico City, someone that I can talk, have a meeting, go to presentations, really receive support from a sponsor. And I was working with Miguel Ángel Alvarado, who is my sponsor, actually. He is an industrial engineer. He is business coach. I am a business coach too. So we were working together in a project, and I decided that I was going to be in Miguel Angel's group. Miguel Angel is with Abner Resendiz, and Abner is with La Doctora Elizabeth Gagiola. Okay. And I didn't know that. Mm-hmm.
So tell us about your trip from Mexico to Colombia, because this was a new country that was opening. You've left your home.
Correct.
You've decided to work. How long were you working in Colombia to build your initial team?
The idea was to be at least 3 months. I spent 1 month in January, bring some, prospects to the convention in Mexico in February, and then go back to Colombia. And because of the pandemic, and because the airport in Colombia was shut down, I couldn't return to Mexico until 6 months later.
Wow. Wow.
And
So
so
it gave you an
yeah,
opportunity to work still.
that is correct. And
Yeah.
and tell you why Colombia. First of all, I recruited Diana, a Colombian lady who lives in Toluca, Mexico, and she went to Colombia to spend Christmas with her family and everything. And the idea, my first trip in January was to meet Diana and all the prospects she got in Ibagué, the city in Colombia. So we worked in three different cities: Ibagué, Bogota, and Monteria. That talk was in Monteria, and thanks to Diana, she introduced me to Ricardo, and Ricardo to Danny, another two Colombian guys, and then to Jose Rosario. And Jose Rosario is an interesting guy because Jose Rosario has contacts all over the world. And I didn't believe that, but it is true. It is true. Jose Rosario was responsible to get people in Spain, Gabriel Costa in Spain, a Romanian guy who was living in Spain at that time. He brought Gareth Lowe in Ireland. Gareth brought Declan, Pipa, Pipa in the UK, and suddenly and people in Canada, people in the US. Actually, Lucho Guerra, who's a guy from Chile, American veteran in the Vietnam War, he's a great guy. I mean, really, I love this guy. And he made silver rank the first month, and every single month in the last, I don't know, 8, 9 months, he becomes a silver. He confirms his silver, and he has not experience in network marketing.
Mm.
But I'm telling you this because you know the people that you are going to recruit, but you never know where it's going to end.
Well,
When
that's
it's going
right.
to
That's really what I wanted to ask you, because from one lady connection in Mexico, you travel to Colombia, your organization expands into Spain, into Ireland, into England. I mean, this is an amazing story. And you know, for those of you that are listening, this is something that we're really going to be focusing on this year, because we're really going to consolidate all these countries, get people talking to each other through family connections, from South America to Canada to England, to Spain and to Ireland. And you start to see these organizations grow. And this is really the main reason I wanted you to talk with us this evening, Alejandro, because it's an amazing story to move from a corporate position to find one person that's taking your business all around the world. And it's still early days, right? I mean, we're only talking
oh yes,
around about a year.
correct. That is
So
correct.
when we finish this lockdown, I think you're going to be traveling quite a bit, right?
I hope so. I hope so. Yes. Actually, Miguel Angel, and myself, we were really planning to have a trip to Ireland because the Irish group is like 15 to 20 people, and I know the rules in Europe are different than in Latin America because I have heard, and perhaps Scott, you have heard this story also too, that people doesn't really are worried about the future. No? They have health care, they have, let's say, a nice income. So it's difficult to find why the European people, because I don't think it's only for the UK and Ireland, but because in Spain it's the same. People feels that they don't need to do something like this. They don't need. They don't believe even that the product is so wonderful that they should at least take the product, being a customer, register as a customer, and receive your product every month. I mean, I know that in Canada it took years, in the US it took so many years, and they have customer bases very big.
Well,
But
you've already discovered, you see, because what we've learned in the UK and Ireland, particularly, well, no, both countries, to be honest, is that we have a very large population of people from other countries that come to live here, and so you can find Spanish, German, Italian, French, Mexican. I mean, every possible nationality living in the UK. I know that we've got distributors in Ireland who come from Colombia. which is quite strange. So when you start working with people from other countries that live here, they are having to establish themselves. Okay, so they're much more positive about doing new business opportunities than the natural residents of our country. And this is really why network marketing is a very, very powerful tool, because you can network amongst your own local community to find people in other countries. And that's how I've, certainly I've always worked with the organizations in that way. And Aurelio's obviously on the call tonight, and he will tell you, that's how Spain, basically because of South America, is how Spain took off. We have something like 80% or so of our distributor base in the UK is from Latino organizations. So it's a very powerful thing when you start to network. We were talking with Alberto Voigt this afternoon, and I was saying, you've got German and Italian and French and Portuguese people, Spanish, living in the United States and Canada, and they speak English. So they can contact their relatives into Europe, and there's the first beginnings of their organization. So yeah, fascinating. This gentleman here, tell us a little bit about your experience with Raul Tufik, because he was on the Momentum video this last week, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, the history, Raul is a great guy. And I remember the first time I met him, I was corporate, and he was in a trip in Canada or something like that. And he was very arrogant. He was, something, he used to believe that he was made by God himself. Or something like that. And suddenly, when I met Raul a year ago, now in Colombia, because we met in a city, in a training, and I was having a Discovery Minutech presentation. And then I suddenly realized that Raul was a completely different person. When we say that the professional and personal development that you have doing this kind of business, it is true. It is true. Sooner or later, perhaps when you're a diamond, because I know in the corporate side of business, we know that diamonds is an income that most of the people has never earned before. So diamonds are really, in the comfort zone and earning, I don't know, $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 per month, and they don't want to grow to executive diamond because it's more trouble. I mean, that is for sure. That is for sure, because it's going to be a bigger group. It's going to be people in so many countries. I know that the diamonds are in the comfort zone. And in the case of Raul, he was a complete different person. From the person I met, I don't know, 5, 6 years before that, to the person I met last year, he's completely different. He's human. He's willing to give. He's listened to the people, and I said, "Wow, this is fantastic. That you are going to have received this kind of training. That you are going to receive this kind of personal development." And I'm sorry that sometimes young people they don't believe that. And I can tell you by my 3 daughters, they are not interested in network marketing yet. I know that they are going to be in the future, I hope. But they don't really understand the professional career, the professional skills they are going to develop.
And what's your experience working with Raul? What the transformation happened that took him from diamond to platinum? Your experience working with him, how did that affect what he did?
He started to really work with his group, and that's key. If you as a diamond don't develop more diamonds in your organization, you're going to become executive diamond. If you don't work with your people, if you believe that because you're lucky to have one leader in one leg, another great leader in another leg, so the business is okay and it's running fast, but that's not the way. In Minutech, you need to work. You have to work with your people. You have to develop your people. You have to support your people in so many ways. So the change dimension that Raul had was that he was really working with his groups and start developing people in Dominican Republic, people in the United States, for instance, because you can imagine you cannot become a platinum in Dominican Republic. You need to have organization outside Dominican Republic. Otherwise, it's very, very hard.
And do you know how he was able to transform his organization out of Dominican Republic into America? How did he do that?
Yes, thanks to the support of Angela and Bricia. The Angelo and Bricia is Mexican, Angelo is American. They also work with Ricardo Garcia Pelaya and myself in the other company. I met them when they were really newlywed, and the change. Angelo is fantastic. Angelo is he has the skill. Bricia connects with people very fast. But Angelo has the skills to develop, to take out from you your best resources, your best potential. So I'm sure Angelo has been working with Raul many times, many presentations. They developed Dominican Republic, Angelo and Bricia, and I'm sure they helped Raul to start a leg in the United States, and that helped him to become platinum. Mm-hmm.
What do you think about are the qualities that are necessary for the leaders to build on to help their teams? What do you think they need to focus on?
They need to, first of all, admit, recognize that everybody is different. So the motivation that you have is not necessarily the same motivation they have. And you need to really understand the why. Why are they doing the business? Why? Because you need to support in this why and provide reasons. If they don't know, if they are in this comfort zone as a diamond and they don't want to become executive diamonds, you can share information, something like the first time I heard from our platinum. There's a platinum in our group, Juan Carlos Di Salvo, who is a guy from Venezuela, but he has lived in Mexico for 20 years. So his business is in Mexico. And he was the one who I've heard that Immunotech is going to be the first international company of this kind with a limited number of products that is going to have a revenue of $1 billion. And when he was mentioning that, Immunotech was invoicing, or the revenue was 100 million. So it was 10 times more. And I said, well, you can imagine if your check now is whatever, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, well, 10 times more is $40,000, $50,000. So how many platinums are going to be in a company who are producing $1 billion in revenue? When I left the company, there were like 30 platinums all over the world. Now are close to 50. So just imagine. Or how many people are in the Millionaires Club? Almost 50. That means people who has already received from Immunotech $1 million in commission. No? So it's amazing. If the company is now 5 times more, because now the Immunotech is a $200 million company. So if you want that the check is going to be 5 times more, you need to understand the rules. You need to work with your people. You need a lot of silvers. You need a lot of golds. You need a lot of diamonds if you really want to become platinum. We have a great story.
Mm. Yep. Sure. No, go on. You tell me the story. That's okay.
No, the great story is that we have a guy who is 34 years old, and he closed last month in February. His name is Percy Miguel, 34 years old. He jumped from Hinode, HND, to Immunotech because he has some problems with his father, health problems with his father, and he wanted to buy some Immunocal. And he went from Peru to Colombia for a meeting, whatever, for a coaching meeting or something like that. And suddenly he heard that the doctors were talking about the Immunocal. And he was shocked. And he was really shocked and said, come on, the doctors are talking about this product. Okay, let me buy 5 boxes, whatever. I'm going to give the product to my father and we will see. When his father suddenly recovered his health and recovered energy and everything, he thought, I have a nice company that is not present in Peru. Peru was not open yet, and the product is wonderful. So he decided to work. I mean, he has been in the company since the opening of Peru, so that means almost 14, 15 months. And last month, he closed with 1,300,000 points. So he's going to become platinum, the first platinum in Peru, and he has 34 years. And it's incredible the way he's working. So he's going to share with us part of his secrets tomorrow in one Zoom that we have at 7 p.m. in Mexico. But I know that the system is work with your people, develop the skills, develop an eagle eye to know where are the talents of these people and how I will work with them to become him or her a better person. To provide, the confidence, to provide the challenges, because you need to work different with different people. I mean, that's for sure. The leader knows the best leadership skills is to know how to form teams. You need to work with your people. Otherwise, you are lost in this business.
This is very, very good advice. And right now we have a very strange situation. Certainly, none of us have experienced what's happening before ever in our lives. Where the whole world is on a shutdown, and people's lives are changing very, very much right now. Their health is changing, and their wealth is changing. Or lack of it. The smaller businesses closing, people wondering what to do for the future, and spending time to really focus on their health. So, would you say this is a good time to really prospect quite aggressively in the market?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. Of course. Of course. I think the pandemic has helped all the network marketing companies to realize that they were spending too much in travel expenses. That your time is really much more productive doing this. And here you have people connected from Colombia, from Mexico, from the UK, from Ireland, from, I don't know, if perhaps Jose Rosario, I don't know if he's with us, Dominican Republic. So this system is much more productive to use your time and the time of your colleagues. I mean, that is for sure.
What sort of questions do you ask when you're prospecting? Because, coming from corporate to being a consultant, what are the sort of the key questions that you use when you're prospecting to people?
My first connection with them, my first contact with a prospect is usually trying to know what they want to accomplish. If they understand that this is a project, in my case, it's my life project. I'm 67 years old, so I'm not going to do anything else but military for the rest of my life. But they have to understand that this is a life project. If they really want to develop an income, whatever is the amount, because sometimes I receive, when I ask the question, how much do you want to earn in Minotech? Sometimes I receive $200, $300. And I say, well, yes, we can help you to make a revenue of $300. And sometimes a crazy lady that told me, I want to earn $10,000, but I only have 1 hour a week to develop the project. And I said, well, you're crazy. I mean, you are not going to develop the project in 1 hour. This is not a 1 hour project. So you need to really fully commit it at least 1 hour a day or something like that, 7, 8 hours, 10 hours a week. So my first question, my system is trying to understand as a person, what are really the motivations? Let me tell you a story that is fantastic, because we have a funnel. Miguel Angel developed a funnel, and we had some prospects from different countries. And suddenly I received a telephone that should be from Peru, and this guy was living in Antofagasta, in Chile, at very, very south of Chile, close to the Antarctic. And when I spoke with him in the phone, I say, what are you doing in Chile? Well, Peru is very complicated, we have situation, whatever. I'm in the transport business, but all my family and everything are in Peru. So in order to make this story short, I started to questioning, don't you like to to be in Peru, stay with your family, and have the same income that you're having now in your transport business? Oh, yes, I would like to have that. Great. We have the project that you can move from Chile from Antofagasta, whatever, to your city in Peru. So let me show you what is this opportunity. This business opportunity can really help you to improve your health, improve the health of your family, but at the same time have a revenue, a secure revenue in your home. And he has decided to move from Chile to Peru. So I think the ideal thing is when you really care for people, when you really are taking good care. I'm so glad that Pipa from the UK, and she's writing some nice words to me. And this is part of when Azul Solis made that famous phrase that if you come to Immunotech, if you come to Immunotech for money, you're coming for something very few, because money is really a resultant of everything you are doing. And I know that everybody wants to have a big check or whatever, but really the soft benefits that we have working in Immunotech is your health is going to improve, the health of the people you love are going to improve. The travel, I mean, now you have the opportunity from coming to Europe to Miami, and I have double credits again this month in March. The personal development that you receive, I mean, the people that you meet, the number of interesting people that you meet. I mean, I'm really amazed. I'm really amazed that we have so many contacts with, I know in the case of Eric Waring, we were receiving the award of that Immunotech was the 96 company in the top 100 companies at that time. We met with Eric Waring, and Eric Waring at that time, we were trying to get him for our convention in Mexico, and he was quoting, the quotation was almost $600,000 for a conference of 3 hours, private jet, obviously, you know, the nicest suite in the hotel, whatever. I mean, the money was so expensive that we said, no, we cannot have Eric Waring. And now having Eric Waring in our last convention, no, it's amazing. It's something that it was a dream come true. So the soft benefits that you receive in this industry are so big, Scott. You know, because your story is more or less the same. You met interesting people. You make relationships with so many. I was working with John Soledad when I was corporate. He had an interesting group in Monterrey, and I translated to John Soledad, I don't know, 10 times in Monterrey. So I believe John Soledad is one of my friends. I met Wally Kralik and Foster. Foster was in Mexico City, as you remember. And I met Wally Kralik when Mauricio decided to have a big group of the first launch that he has in his house with all the platinums. He invited all the platinums in the world. The first year he took over Immunotech because he wanted to know everybody. So that's part of the system, that you need to work and admit that everybody is different. Everybody is different. Some people work for money, some people work for recognition, some people in Mexico work only for the trip. There are people that only works to earn the trip and travel with Immunotech to Peru, to Colombia, to Xcaret, now in Xcaret. So you need to understand what is really the motivation that this lady or this guy has, and provide and help them to take the best decision.
Yeah. So, are you still actively recruiting frontline to your business?
Yes. Oh yes. Yeah. And yes, and we have.
What techniques do you use? Do you mind sharing that with us? What's your secrets? You know, how do you find new people?
One is the funnel that I was mentioning, and that funnel gives us to all the top leaders in the Miguel Angel's organization, like 40 to 50 people that have been already, screened. They fill a questionnaire. They saw like 7 different videos, and when they finish the 7 videos, they give her email and her telephone and how much money they want to earn because really it's an investment proposal. We never talk about immunotech or anything. It's like an investment proposal. An entrepreneur, if you want to become an entrepreneur or have your own business, contact us, something like that. So that's one of the second. It's amazing the number of groups that they are in Facebook. For instance, in Ecuador, now we're open in Ecuador, and we have Leonor Mora here with us. In Ecuador, there are a group in Facebook that says Ecuadorian in Mexico, no? Or Peruvians in Mexico, Colombians in Mexico. And these groups usually are completely open. I mean, it's people that you know that they have contacts in all the countries there. So I went with another guy in our group where all the Peruvians were celebrating something, and we were just the only two guys were not Peruvian, but we made a lot of connections there. Yeah. And as Eric Worre mentioned, it's important to have connections. It's not necessarily people you are going to recruit. You cannot be trying to recruit everybody. I tried to recruit my best friend who was with me in England when we were young, and this guy he's retired. He's 68 years old now. He's receiving a nice compensation, and he told me, no, Alejandro. He takes a product. I mean, he's a customer, but he doesn't want to do the business, and I'm not pressuring him. I mean, he told me, no, Alejandro, I'm retired. I work a lot. I just want to rest. And I say, well, okay, I respect that.
And have you had success working with the groups on Facebook?
Yes.
Give us one example. Give us one example of what happened.
The first rule is you never speak about immunotech or immunocal, because that was my first mistake. My first mistake, I was trying to do the discovery immunotech to everyone by phone. No, and so I could stay in the phone for 15 minutes and realize that this guy hands was gone, or the lady was gone, because you cannot explain a business like in the immunotech business by phone. No. You need to really try. You really try to connect with people. That's very important. Make this kind of Margarita Garcia Vasquez said, heart-to-heart connection. You need to make this heart-to-heart connection to really understand. So never speak about immunotech or immunocal in the first conversation. Try to know everything. The most information you have about your prospect, the better prospecting work you're doing, because that information is going to help you to see that you really are interested in his health or her health, or interested in providing an additional income to the house. Second thing that we are not mentioning in our discoveries, when you mention the bonuses that immunotech are paying, and you mentioned that become a platinum is going to be $100,000 for becoming a platinum in 2 years, I bet you that 10 people that are hearing the discover are thinking that this information is false, that this information is misleading, that this information is trying to get you encouraged, but the company is not paying that amount. Because most of the people, in the case of Latin America, most of the people are not used. When you spoke about having a revenue of $5,000, in all our countries, at least in Mexico, I can guarantee you that 1% of the people are receiving that income. Only 1%. Most of the people, they don't even believe that they can earn $5,000. So if you try to get interested someone only because they are going to receive $5,000 a month, most of the people, they don't believe that. They don't believe it. They think this is a scam. They think it's a pyramid. They think, all the stories that we already hear in every single country. So the best strategy is to really connect with people. And if the people says no when you present the opportunity or whatever, don't drop the name of your list. In the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, the situation could be completely different. So this guy or this lady now has a job, whatever, and in 3 months they don't have a job. And they are really looking to at least perceive $500, $1,000 per month. So, and this company, we know that this company can give you $1,000 per month if you become gold. As simple as that. So if you're really committed to receive $1,000 per month, bring 15, 20 people to the company, and you will have 1,000. So I think the system is trying to, if you try to do the business complicated, if you try to explain the glutathione and Dr. Patricia Conchave and Gustavo Bonos, if you try to give all that information, most of the people are confused. They don't know what you are offering. Sometimes they don't even know what the product does in your body and why they should take it. So the best thing is listen 80% of the time. The first interview that you have with this prospect, listen 80% of the time. Make them speak. Make them give you all the information you need. Why? In order to provide the solutions they are looking for. That's it.
Yeah, so you have to be a good listener, not a good talker.
Correct. And the problem is, salesmen, as you know, Scott, we try to speak and speak and speak. And I understood very fast that was not the way. That was not the way. Yeah. It is much better listen and help them to solve a problem with our solutions.
Somebody's motorbike. But you see, this is also very interesting, because earlier you were saying about how important it is to work with the team. And this is the same information, isn't it? You see, by listening to a prospect and what their desires are, it gives you the clues as to what is going to be the things that will motivate them to go on through the business, right?
Correct. That is correct. That is correct. Because even though in the immunotech system, you can place someone, below another consultant, at the end, if you are the sponsor, you are the sponsor. The connection is with you. This guy, perhaps I will connect someone with Raul or Dr. Leonor or Angelica Piña, but at the end, this sponsor is myself. And this guy or this lady are going to call me and say, no. I believe that you told me that you are going to help me to do this and that and that, blah, blah, blah. So that's why it's not so sane or it's not wise to recruit 20 people, personally recruits 20 people in a month, because you are making an agreement that you are going to work with these 20 people. And sometimes the time is not enough. I mean, it's for sure. So you try to do trainings and everything, and there are some videos now. The company has provided videos, but at the end, the relationship is personal. It's a personal. This business is people. This business is not the product. It's not the money. It's not the travel, not the trips. It's a person. It's a person business. It's a people business.
It's very refreshing to hear this, because the techniques change over the years. Where we've now got internet and we've got video like we're talking now, Zoom calls and international connections and smartphones and videos and all those things. But the same principles that I learned back in the early 80s when I started in the industry haven't changed. As you say, it's about the relationship. It's about caring more about that person than you care about your income, right? It's about working with them very closely as a friend to help them. And I think those things never change. That part of our business never changes. If you see, you take Raul Tufik, who we talked about as being a very arrogant young man, and he's learnt those skills and become more humble. And now his organization is really, really grown fast, and he's become very successful. And so, these are the lessons I think are so important when you're building your organization. So if it gets farther away from you, in other words, it's not in your hometown, you can't meet people, how do you do that long distance? Because your business is now in several countries, you said, right?
Correct. Most of the time with this tool, with the Zoom tool, most of the time with Zooms. I can guarantee you that I spend at least 5, perhaps even 6 hours per day in Zooms.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot of Zooms, a lot of Zooms. And
It's
in
just talking
Mexico,
to friends, having fun, enjoying their
talking,
company, giving them some
correct,
ideas.
correct,
It's
correct.
not a bad
And
job, is it? It's not such a bad business.
no, no, not at all, not at all, not at all. It's a nice business. And just before we end in the interview, Scott,
Yeah,
let me share you the 5 reasons I changed from corporate to the field.
yeah,
First of all, Immunotech is a strong, solid company, financially speaking. I mean, they have a lot of resources. They have really many resources, financial resources, and the commitment from Mauricio to really start opening countries. And 4 countries this year is just great. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun for you and for all of us. Second, Immunocal, a wonderful product that everybody needs. Everybody, if we really make true the legacy that Dr. Bonus gave to us, that to have one Immunocal box in every single household in the world, you can imagine what that means in terms of money. And third, the compensation plan, and I fanatic of in understanding compensation plans. And the compensation plan in Immunotech is one of the best. Is one of the best. Some of the platinums were saying that Immunotech likes to give money away. No? So that's, and perhaps it's true. I mean, we're receiving bonuses. If one guy becomes gold, you will receive a bonus because you provided one new goal in your organization. And this is something, according to this platinum, that we should do. I mean, we should do anyway. I mean, we should provide new goals and new platinums and everything. So the fourth is the team. You need to be in a team that really challenge you to reach for higher goals. Otherwise, the comfort zone is a temptation. Mainly in the pandemic, you can spend 6 hours going to see the new series in Netflix, or you can spend 6 hours working and training and sharing experiences. And the fourth and most important is this is my last project. So I'm really building a legacy that I'm going to inherit to one of my children, I hope, to my wife, I don't know, to my friend, I don't know. But this is something that's going to be here forever. So what companies you can really inherit your check? I mean, there are some very few. There are very few. And in Immunotech, we have it is true. It's absolutely true for people that has already died. And Emmanuel is a platinum because her mother died about 3 years ago. So even if in that rank the company is respected to provide insurance and everything, well, that tells you that the company is legal, is ethical, it's going to be here, and it's going to be the 1 billion company with or without us. That's for sure. That's for sure.
well, thank you. Alejandro, it's very inspiring, your story, and I think any business executive that's retiring from the corporate world and wanting to continue building a business into their retirement, you couldn't really wish for anything better, right? Because
Yes.
as we get older in life, we become more humble, I hope, and it's a chance to give back to people and share with them some of the blessings that we've got. So I
Mm-hmm.
really do thank you for coming on this evening. It's a great pleasure to talk with you at some length and amazing stories you've shared. So that's wonderful. I have recorded this and I'm very happy to share it with anyone who would like to ask me. You may remember my email address is slucy@immunitech.com. And so I will certainly send you a copy, Alejandro, to share with your group. We're
Thank
really
you.
looking forward to you coming to visit us again in England, where you had your original education, I understand, right? Many years ago.
Yeah, many years ago. Yeah.
Yes. Well, we're still here, and hopefully you'll come back and see us. So from me and all the guests on the call tonight, we thank you, and we hope to see you again soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And good night, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Good night, Scott. Thanks to you. Thanks to you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Gracias.
From Mexico City.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Gracias.
De nada.
Gracias, Karina.